1 in Philly anymore, but he's #1 in Delaware and is coming off a win at the big regional Defend the North just a couple weeks ago. So he's riding a high of his own and is looking to extend that prominence to a major level, not just in regional and local events.
And I will say he did pretty well against PK Chris last time, which I think is one of the most seasoned Ness players that we do have in the country. So right now, already presenting basically even dropping down through the platform after that down to reposition, get a bit more damage off. Right now, they're both just trying to feel each other out. It's the start of the match.
Yeah, I really appreciate how Mega Man approaches neutral in a lot of ways, where he's a character that is constantly poking, constantly prodding, and it forces your opponent to stay active 100% of the time, all the time.
Yeah, but that time around, committing a little bit too much to that PK Thunder, just letting MPG get back onto the stage, especially with that down tilt. But now, Metal Blade in hand, going to be looking to get something going, but Tony Pajamas is just stuffing him out with all of these back airs.
Yeah, if there's anything that Mega Man does well, it's stuff out movement with things like pellets, air shooter, like all of Metal Claw, even all of this good stuff. But it's really hard to stop Ness's raw hitbox. It's really hard to stop the momentum shifts that are offered by PSI Magnet, and all of the different directions and change of directions that can be really hard with Ness.
Yes, for sure. But right now, 121%, looking for that PK fire into the back end, but alas, that was too much of the external hitbox. Somebody double jumped right into the win box, and then did the thing. The Mega Man vibe check has succeeded today. I will also say, notice how much more Tony Pajamas is going through back air neutral instead of forwarding. This is because Ness's multi-hit forwarder is a transcendent hitbox, meaning it won't actually swat away the pellets. The pellets will go through Ness's forwarder.
Huge, actually. Like that's a monumental for just about every Mega Man matchup. You have to know how to deal with pellets, whether it be with a hitbox like back air or whether it be with sheer movement, which Tony seems to be doing well in both cases, which is why I really like how MPG has taken to a more vertical approach.
It makes me so sad. That's his point. It makes me so sad, man. Why is it transcendent? Why? He could have had so much of a better time against Zoda's back throw. Not going to be able to kill. Mega Man is a robot. He is made of metal. That's a heavy boy, and he makes it back onto the stage.
You know, he's a super fighting robot, no doubt, and he's looking to lay the scraps onto Tony. Some of these backers finally clutching with that Leaf Shield. But, I mean, just wow at the fact that Tony has been extremely good at avoiding some finishers. But in the same vein, yikes, he's unable to take the stock himself. He's unable to take the stock, but luckily MPG takes it himself.
Oh my gosh, and MPG so efficient, these Z-drop back airs as well, able to pick it up and able to still lock down Tony at the ledge, looking to close it, looking to finish it. That dash attack, that back air, unfortunately, doesn't fully connect, and Tony Pajamas lives another day. Ooh. Oh,
clean extension off the scramble, looking to set up this ledge trap. He does so successfully, lands the back air. There's no double jump, but it wasn't able to cover the air dodge thanks to the Crash Bomber already being connected. Yep. Had to prioritize that and got a little heals in, but MPG did make it back thanks to it and is able to still cover the air dodge. Seeing that come in was a huge call out and a huge lack of commitment from MPG just to cover the ledge and wait for the air dodge.
Oh my gosh, and MPG, look at his creative follow-ups. Crossing up Ness, Metal Blades down as well, and trying to also jump off that top of the up B to be able to cancel all of his lag on the way back down. He keeps picking it back up. MPG's advantage today right now is looking amazing, and Tony Pajamas just interrupting that with that plank PK Thunder and able to take that stock off with the back air.
Oh, getting the Leaf Shield canceled with the Metal Blade, but unable to extend anything further. Still, 90% on you. You don't need to rush anything further. One of the big things that I feel like MPG can get inside his own head with is never slowing down the tempo. Like, always looking at, like, dangerous recoveries like that. They're really super quick roll on. Like, slow yourself down. You're Mega Man. You have a lot of tools, both in any situation. It's just a matter of remembering you have them and remembering to execute them right that back. What the heck was that? You know what?
Something that was not supposed to happen. That interaction was not supposed to go that way at all. But I need to see that again. I need to see that one more time.
I need to see that a dozen times. Like, holy, what is this? Like, you catch the air dodge, you force him to do it again, but you miss this back air, and the rush coil. Robot's best friend is a robot dog, and it's not a human dog, and that
Ness
kid
felt that. Ness got possessed.
No,
that was a horror movie. He was possessed by a demon in that moment.
Robot jump scare. Oh. Look at this. Look at this kid. This poor
He's
kid.
not having a good time.
No.
This is not having a good time there.
Look, do you ever expect to be hit with something like that?
That was new. I've never seen up B into down it. That's totally new to me. Was it intentional? Maybe, but I feel like it was just like, oh, I want to get back onto stage before Ness and pop out a down air to just two-frame him just in case. If I'm MPG, I don't have any issues. I don't have any qualms with how that went. I'm A-okay. I'm feeling good about that.
It's just how the cookie crumbles. You do the right things, and you are rewarded for them, even if it's not in the way that you initially anticipated. Still, moving to small battlefield here is this game number 2. I kind of like the idea from Tony Pajamas. I think Ness does extremely well on biplat stages in general, and by closing down the amount of space that MPG has to move, on top of giving yourself more platforms to utilize, you give yourself more variability when it comes to approaching.
Absolutely. But now, all of a sudden, the presents are just basically even at this point, Metal Blade in hand. MPG's looking for a little something, and he's just poking away. Just as he said in the beginning, he's just relying on those pokes, that really non-committal play in neutral. And, ooh, I don't know about that PK Thunder, because the last thing that you want to do is have to land against Mega Man as Ness.
Yeah, it's a terrifying prospect given just how, while Mega Man isn't necessarily the fastest character, his range extends far further than you anticipate, thanks to things like pellets, like Metal Blade, and the walking arsenal that this robot is.
Yeah, without a doubt. And now, yet again, you know, they're both keeping it pretty competitive. Tony Pajamas doesn't want to be the first one to lose his stock like last time, but he gets the neutral instead of the back air, which would not have killed, but he's setting up the edge guard. This is where you yo-yo, or you know what, just neutral as well, because MPG could have still directional air dodge to cross up a potential yo-yo. That was optimal.
Yeah, as well as still taking into account that MPG had been saving their double jump the entire time. Oh, had to rush Quo out of there, and it looked like Tony Pajamas had a beat on that too, who just wasn't able to get the height that they needed.
He was a little too slow on the back kill as well. That wasn't immediately after, but that should technically be a true follow-up on Mega Man. But that back kill, excuse me, is going to be able to take the stock, 2 stocks apiece now. And already just mixing up his movement. Leaf Blade, Metal Blade in hand. He is looking to get something going.
And he's starting to move extremely well. I really like how MPG has been using Metal Blade not just as a means to cancel some of his Leaf Shield and have that layer mix up, but also having Metal Blade as like an extra tick throw almost, especially when coming down vertically onto Ness to force, to remove things like up air and nair out of shield as options.
And you know what, I gotta say, Tony Pajamas is swinging in those positions in a really good way, because MPG, if you give him a little bit of time to set up, he's gonna get some absurd option where he has all of these projectiles happening at once. Tony Pajamas is just like saying, hey, Ness neutral, I'm gonna stop whatever you're setting up, buddy.
Boom. Big buttons, big hands, and trying to come out in a big way here in the first stream match of this top 128 for Apex 2022. The roll on gets by for MPG, and he lands that back air out of shield, looking to complete the edge guard now, but is unable to get out any hitbox in time.
Doesn't get the yo-yo. Yeah, the get-up attack able to get past it, but now this is exactly where you want Mega Man off stage. But Tony Pajamas comes back on a little bit too late. Ness does not descend fast. He is a floaty and was not able to get his yo-yo off on time. MPG made it back on, and he's going to make sure this counts. That dash dance was beautiful.
Yeah, what I always find fun about certain dash dances is the turnaround animation and how tricky it is. Mewtwo does it the same way, where he's like actively swerving back and forth. A lot of shoulder movement in there. It's really... the amount of flexibility on this robot's impressive, especially when you see those Leaf Shield cancels combine together to add into pressure and true follow-ups. But he still saved his double jump. Yes, MPG is able to make it back and find a reversal in turn.
He is so good at knowing when it's his turn. MPG, he sometimes just gets these safe hits, and he doesn't continue to follow up because he knows, hey, I don't have a true follow-up. I'm just going to wait for you to mash out of disadvantage. But, oh my god, speaking of mashing, everybody was pressing buttons.
Yeah, pressing defensive and offenses, but MPG, holy, is just able to continue this advantage state. Like, it's never your turn, it's always mine. Are they getting up?
Oh, no, you got to sit back down.
Yeah, sit back
It's
down.
a best of 5. Oh, it's a best of 3? Oh, never mind, it's a best of 3, that's right.
Oh, my God.
I forgot the first round of top 128 is all best of 3.
Oh, so it's only like top 64 that's best of 5. And if you win one, you get to top 64? Or is that top 96? Numbers. It is top 96 if you won. Okay. So
okay. All
Nice.
best of 3 still. And yeah, eating that down, that was so good too, because it is such a powerful option for Ness, right? At the ledge to double jump PK Thunder, because it catches a lot of two-frame opportunities, because the two-frame doesn't usually reach that far off to the side, so you can effectively call that out, or maybe you can also force somebody into shielding. But if you call out Ness jumping back on with the PK Thunder, typically speaking, hitboxes, you have to be on the lookout, because you have to worry about PK Thunder. Mega Man down, a big disjointed, it's a projectile. It's one of the best ways to deal with it. So I do love the fact that when MPG needed it most, he was able to connect it, he was able to get it off, and take the stock in the set.
Yeah, I want to shout out this interaction right here, because if there was a permeating thought throughout many of these replays, it's right here as we get a couple of these pivot grabs. These pivot grabs from MPG constantly were so good, because he would pivot here in order to try and throw out Rush Coil, in order to Metal Blade, Leaf Shield, all of that good Mega Man stuff that's approaching the ledge, but then instantly would use that amazing initial dash that you were talking about earlier, Dara, by immediately turning into a pivot grab and constantly harassing Tony Pajamas for going with the pretty safe roll onto ledge to avoid all of the up
to avoid like the uppy, to avoid like a lot of the leaf shields that he was doing, especially, right? So it's like, it's really important that it's very specific position that you're able to implement different things in really ambiguous fashions. In this case, he saw the goal animation, he was able to react to it in time, he was able to punish the goal and then continue his offstage situation. Because being at the ledge, you need to know your unreactable mix-ups. Like, hey, if I'm going to dash into neutral, get up distance, am I going to dash back? Am I going to put up uppy like he was doing previously? That was sort of the ambiguity. That was the thing that he was mixing up between, and thus he was able to get that ledge trap off. Beautiful stuff.
And when you have so many tools like Mega Man has, that ambiguity can become insanely stressful, because you have to take into account 5 or 6 different things. Speaking of, I guess, 5 or 6 different things, because we've got more players coming up to bat in this top 128. It's going to be, I believe, Mia and Armadillo.
Oh, is that Mia? Oh, that's so cool. Has Mia traveled before?
I don't believe so.
This is interesting.
Yes.
This is exciting. So I feel like Japan has been the source of so many up-and-coming, amazing players as of late.
Yes.
The one that's on everybody's mind is, of course, Aquila. The one and only, the Steve extraordinary, one of the best to be actually doing it.
Kazuya and Luigi, and like he has so many characters in his roster. But Mia has been one of those players, one of those up-and-coming players that has been able to take sets off of Aquila and take sets basically off of everyone else. Was recently able to win a Japanese regional over Kameme and Proto Banham, to name a few, and wins on Ashimo as well. Like, just
I didn't know that he was here. How did I miss that?
He was, I don't know.